Chanel, 6:31 now. Breaking this morning in Pasco County, a sheriff's deputy shoots and kills a man in his home following a standoff.
ABC Action News anchor James Tully is live in the Holiday neighborhood where this happened. And James, deputies say the man was assaulting his girlfriend before they got there.
Lindsay, that's right. Neighbors actually told deputies they saw him spit on her at one point, and it's happened here on Blue Jay Drive in Holiday. These homes here behind me, beyond the police tape, still a very active scene. In addition to the neighbors reporting that, they also overheard him tell her that he has a gun and to call the cops. By the time the deputies arrived, as we look at some video of this scene from a couple hours ago, this man had confined himself to a bathroom. 2 hours of trying to convince him to come out peacefully did not work. A SWAT team stepped in, found him armed with a knife. We understand there were guns in the home. Deputies say that he charged at them with that knife in his hand and then was shot and killed. No one else was hurt. His name has not yet been released. A disturbing detail here, the sheriff says this man made it clear this was an outcome he wanted. And he made it so that they had no choice but to shoot him.
So those criminals realize and learn a lesson right now. When we come fully prepared. We come to make peace. But if you cause us to have to, we will take the actions necessary, because we will make sure that our people go home alive, and we'll make sure every one of our citizens in Pasco County is safe.
And in this situation, that's exactly what happened. Everybody is safe. Nobody else was hurt. Now, the pregnant girlfriend did suffer some injuries. We understand she's going to be okay here. But she told deputies that this man was drinking all day and may have been on prescription drugs. We also understand he has a criminal history of both battery and drug abuse that dates all the way back to the late 90s. Latest from here in Pasco County, James Tully, ABC Action News.
A breaking news update now. One man is dead after a crash involving a motorcycle and car in North Tulsa. Last night, officers responded to the crash near Pine and Memorial. Police say the motorcycle driver, 27-year-old Gabriel Stone, was pronounced dead at the scene. Stone was not wearing a helmet.
One person has been pronounced here at the scene. The driver of the Corvette was transported in critical condition to St. John's. Right now, we're trying to get an update on him, but at last we know he was in critical condition.
We now know that car driver is in stable condition. Police are still investigating the cause.
A judge dismissed the wrongful death lawsuit brought by the Newtown families against the maker of the rifle used in the Sandy Hook school shooting. Adam Lanza used an AR-15 style rifle made by Remington Arms to kill his mother and 26 others during the massacre. Families were seeking to hold Remington accountable for selling a semi-automatic rifle that they considered too dangerous for the public. However, a judge upheld current law that states gun manufacturers cannot be held liable when their products are used in a crime.
This is our top story this morning. 3 people are dead, including 2 young girls in West Phoenix. Their ages 4 and 5 years old. This is a location of the scene that's unfolding right now. Katie Connor is there with the very latest. Katie, can you explain what happened here?
Chris, right now investigators are trying to figure out a motive as to what caused this dad to maybe snap. Right now you can see the investigation behind me is underway. Here's what we know. Late last night, roommates of the suspect called 911 after hearing gunshots, and when officers got here, they learned that the victim's mom had also called 911 earlier out of concern for her ex-husband and their 2 daughters. Now inside the home, police say they found a 4-year-old girl and a 5-year-old girl dead near their dad. Investigators believe the dad first took their lives and then turned the gun on himself. Back out here live, police have not yet released the suspect's name. As soon as we learn more information, we'll pass along to you. This is a very developing situation out here. Back to you guys.
Lining up for a decisive assault, around 30,000 Iraqi and Kurdish troops started to move in on Mosul. But despite being heavily outnumbered, the estimated 3,000 to 5,000 Islamic State fighters could rely on home advantage to thwart the offensive. The jihadists set up an array of defenses, including tunnels and trenches throughout the city. They're also believed to have heavily mined roads leading into Mosul. These guerrilla tactics could considerably slow down Iraqi and Kurdish troops in their efforts to secure surrounding villages before the final assault. Another major challenge for the coalition will be to deal with a large number of civilians still trapped inside the city. The UN expressed extreme concern for what it says are an estimated 1.5 million people in the area, Banned from fleeing by Islamic State fighters, they're likely to be used as human shields. The Islamic State group's strategy to defend Mosul is similar to the one it used in Ramadi and Fallujah. In both cases, the tactics made it significantly harder for the Iraqi army to surround the cities, delaying their capture by several months, a scenario that could repeat itself in the battle for Mosul.
And we're continuing to track that breaking news. 4 people are dead after a truck rolled off of the Coronado Bridge and landed in a crowd. Right now, the bridge is shut down. This is a live picture from the 10 News breaking news tracker. Police say the truck rolled off the bridge and landed on National Avenue, which was filled with people attending a fair at Chicano Park. There are also several injuries, including one person with serious trauma. We will, of course, stay on top of the story and bring you the very latest tonight on 10 News.
Celebrating in victory, Turkish-backed rebels have taken the small northern Syrian town of Dabiq from the Islamic State group.
We are in Dabiq now. Thank God for that and for letting us conquer the village and the cities of Suran and Histamlat and Hawari al-Nahar. If God is willing, the advance will be made until we reach Raqqa.
The town of Dabiq, which lies near the border with Turkey in the Aleppo region, is of little strategic value. But Dabiq holds crucial ideological importance for the Islamic State group and its followers. That's because of a Sunni prophecy that states it will be the site of an apocalyptic battle between Christian forces and Muslims. Turkey launched a military operation inside Syria in August. It aims to work with Syrian rebels to rid its border region of Islamic State jihadists and Syrian Kurdish militia. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan on Saturday said Turkey would push further south to create a 5,000 square kilometre safe zone in Syria. Turkish state media say Ankara-backed rebels now control over 1,000 square kilometres along the border in Aleppo province. This is an area that has been carved into zones of control by jihadists, Kurds, rebels and Syrian regime forces.
22 News has new information on the deadly shooting at an Amherst apartment complex this weekend. The homicide victim has been identified as 31-year-old Jose Joselito Rodriguez. He'd been staying at the South Point Apartments on East Hadley Road. Northwestern DA spokeswoman Mary Carey told 22 News a 28-year-old man who survived the shooting was taken to a Worcester hospital. He'd been shot several times. No arrests so far. If you have any information, call Amherst Police at 413-259-3015 or text an anonymous tip to 274-637.
If you were in the East Valley last night, you might have seen all of that smoke and those flames, a massive blaze destroying a construction project.
It took about 150 firefighters to get that 3-alarm fire under control in Gilbert. This was happening near Guadalupe and Gilbert. An apartment complex that was under construction went up in flames last night. Firefighters say that fire destroyed about 5 buildings at the complex. They're still under construction, so nobody was living here, no injuries as a result. It's just bare wood, and firefighters say that actually complicates their firefight.
These large buildings like this, these 3-story under construction buildings, the heat that comes off of them is tremendous. What happens is there's so much exposed wood that it just becomes a massive plume of smoke and fire that's you can see from miles away.
Now, firefighters say they are going to be out there for a couple of days making sure that there are no flare-ups because there are a lot of hot spots there. They're also still investigating the cause. Over a dozen people in neighboring apartment complexes had to stay out of their homes last night because the smoke and the flames were so intense, but they should be able to return today. A massive fire in Gilbert sound a little familiar? That's because this is the second one this year. How could we forget this first fire? That was the scene in April when a 5-alarm fire erupted near Warner and Gilbert roads. More than 100 firefighters responded to those flames to try and put them out. Federal agents even got involved to investigate. Officials eventually determined that that fire most likely started by a roofer's
A
torch.
judge dismissed the wrongful death lawsuit brought by the Newtown families against the maker of the rifle used in the Sandy Hook school shooting. Adam Lanza used an AR-15 style rifle made by Remington Arms to kill his mother and 26 others during the massacre. Families were seeking to hold Remington accountable for selling a semi-automatic rifle that they considered too dangerous for the public. However, a judge upheld current law that states gun manufacturers cannot be held liable when their products are used in a crime.
Stay at home and stay clear of places frequented by jihadists. That's just one of the warnings printed on these leaflets. They were dropped over Mosul by the Iraqi army before they started their offensive to recapture the city from Islamic State militants. The Prime Minister hailed the start of what he called a heroic operation.
The hour of victory has arrived and operations to liberate Mosul have begun. Together, we'll punish the crimes that have been carried out by the Islamic State group, and together, we will rebuild.
The city is a stronghold of the jihadist group, and they're expected to fight hard as the assault begins. A fierce row unfolded over who should take part in the battle, with Turkey determined to play a key role.
It's clear where we stand when it comes to Mosul. This assault should start with the Iraqi army and local forces, not with Shiite militias. We should not force people in the region to make a choice between the Islamic State group and Shiite militias that attack Sunni groups.
Turkey claims it wants to protect ethnic Turkmen living in northern Iraq and has voiced concerns PKK rebels will take part in the assault. What's certain is that the Iraqi Peshmerga forces from autonomous Kurdistan are leading the offensive.